And so there's this opportunity to be the face of this industry, to be the face of this space. And I believe we're the best position to do that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I want to discuss one of the best risk to reward opportunities in the entire NFT space, in my opinion. And that, of course, is Pudgy penguins. By the way, I hope you like the new setup. I've moved house. I still have to get the art up on the wall, the NFT art, but yeah, we'll get that up for the next video. When researching for this project, just like when I was researching for Utes and D-Gods by Frank D-Gods, my mind was kind of blown, or the opportunity or the conviction in both of these founders just went through the roof. But why do I have such high conviction in Pudgy penguins? And I'm not trying to pump my bags or anything, because I only have one little Pudgy. I really want to invest more in this project over the coming months during the bear market. I'll explain to you why. Main reason, of course, is the CEO of Pudgy penguins, and he's not the founder. He actually went ahead and bought this project for $2 million. So he was already a very extremely successful entrepreneur before he went ahead and bought Pudgy penguins. And he bought Pudgy penguins for $2 million. Rather than starting his own NFTs project, he went ahead, instead of getting $2 million for himself, he spent $2 million. Usually when you launch an NFT project, if you sell out, which he would have sold out, you'd make at least $1 million, and then you can use that money to grow the NFT brand. He used his own money. He spent $2 million and has spent more money to grow the brand of Pudgy penguins, and has done an unbelievable job. So I've watched every interview, or loads of interviews, with Luca Netz, and yeah, I'm pretty much going to distill all the most important pieces of information into this video. So first, I'll do a very quick TLDR on Luca's backstory. And Luca is 24 years old. The chap dropped out of high school at 16, started doing underground rap concerts, made a bit of money there, and by the age of 18 or 19 he had made his first million in e-commerce. And then, before he became the CEO of Pudgy penguins, he was the chief marketing officer of Gel Blasters, this little toy here, and that's the fastest growing toy company in the entire United States. So he made tens of millions in e-commerce, probably hundreds of millions in revenue in e-commerce, and yeah, it was just absolutely crushing it in e-commerce. And then he fell in love with the NFT space. He was always very much into collectibles, and got into NFTs, started buying apes, did actually very well in the NFT space, was actually a very good trader. And yeah, because he was hooked on collectibles, he loved the whole idea of NFTs. That's where he's decided he wants his next mission to go. He's already made enough money to last him many lifetimes, so he's not doing this just purely for money. He wants to really create the next huge IP brand, and he wants to use Pudgy penguins to do that. And just like in the way that I said that he spent $2 million to buy the whole NFT project, he has now raised $9 million in funding so he can grow the project. So obviously the valuation of the project is higher than the $9 million that he's raised. But what makes Luca Netz so special? Why is my conviction in Luca Netz so high? Well, if you actually watch some of his interviews, you'll be blown away by his ambition. And the first time I watched an interview with him, I just thought he was so cocky. I was like, oh my god, this guy is just too much. He's just too cocky. But after a few interviews, you're kind of maybe it was just that interview that he was just being way too cocky. But when you see a few interviews, the confidence and the ambition that he has and the drive, it instills confidence in you about the project. And he has the previous experience to back it up. And we know a few small time drop shippers got into the NFT space and launched projects that all kind of rogued. But this guy has launched major e-commerce brands and major made proper revenue, not just a few 100,000 or a few million. He made tens or hundreds of millions in revenue, and the guy's only 24. So he's a long way. He's just getting into his peak entrepreneurship years. So we have the next 10 to 15 years in Pudgy penguins potentially doing extraordinarily well. Enough about Luca Netz, but let's talk about his vision and how he's going to drive value and brand awareness to the Pudgy penguins. And in saying that, focusing on brand awareness is his unique selling point. He was an insane marketer. That's how he did so well in e-commerce. He's a genius marketing wizard, you know. So trying to grow the brand awareness is kind of his main focus. And you'll notice that the Instagram has like 500,000 followers, daily content on all the social media platforms. They have like a billion or a couple of billion views on Giphy. So there's just loads of memes about Pudgy penguins. So Luca believes that creating this huge brand awareness from normies, like people who aren't in the NFT space or in the crypto space, just driving a huge amount of brand awareness. People love the IP, people love these Pudgy penguins, people like normies follow the Instagram and follow the TikTok account, and a lot of the followers don't even realize that it's an NFT project that owns this Instagram account. Like you can see some of the illustrations and sort of the posts that they put up. But he believes this is going to drive value back to the NFT project once people realize that, oh, this is actually an NFT project. I really like this IP. I can be a part of this in a more meaningful way or in an actual ownership way. That's the idea. That's his thought process. So Luca wants Pudgy penguins to be the entire face of NFTs. The reason he went ahead and bought Pudgy penguins over like creating his own project, like when you create your own project, you get $2 million for yourself, and you can use that money to grow the project. But he went ahead and spent $2 million. He's already 2 million in the hole, and he had to fund it himself to be able to grow the brand. But the reason he chose Pudgy penguins, he believes they're the most family friendly, the most like brandable, the most easily mass market IP kind of play in the entire NFT space. He probably thinks he couldn't have made something that was so perfect. He loves penguins, I guess, and these pudgy little cute fuckers, I guess a lot of people love them. It's more of a mass market appeal than, for example, mutant apes. Like my mom is never going to be interested in mutant ape merch or something like that, or a teenager is never going to be interested in XYZ NFT project. But Pudgy penguins he believes works for all age groups, all people, and yeah, so it has that mass market appeal, and that's what you need, like cute, family friendly fun. That's kind of the vibe that they're going for. And if you notice, one of the biggest IP brands in the world, Disney, that's exactly what Disney is. Family friendly, brandable, cute, etc.
There's nothing I can't do, and there isn't anybody I can't touch, I think is the really important part. With everyone else, all of them are like boxed in some point, right? Like, it's like, okay, if you're a game, well, that's who you are. Now, a game is a good box to be in. Keep in mind, I'm not shitting on a game, but a game is a good box to be in, right? Or your art is too abstract, and it's like, okay, you might be able to appeal to this demographic, but you just can't appeal to everyone. Like, the art is there's too much of a taste to it, right? Like, and taste is good. I'm not shitting on taste, but again, I'm looking at who's going to be the face of NFTs? Who's going to be the face of this business, right? The person who's going to be the face is the person who's going to be able to touch everyone, and who's not more like, I think Azuki's putting on a masterclass, but Azuki can't be the face of NFTs. It's an anime. Like, they're the face of anime NFTs. They will be that, and they've conquered that. And that could supersede a lot of things. But who can be the face for every single person? That's a problem, because you need that. If you want NFTs to win, somebody's going to have to do that. Bored Ape can't do that because they're getting high. They're doing fucking mutant farts. They're, popping keys out of buttholes and talking about buttholes. And again, I love them, dude. I'm a huge ape holder. I'm Bored Ape's demographic. I have a bunch of apes. I love my apes. I'm never going to sell my apes ever again, right? But we all realize that can't be the face of NFTs, right? Like, I hope we all do. And so there's this opportunity to be the face of this industry, to be the face of this space. And I believe we're the best position to do that, because it's not hyper complicated. Anybody can look at a Pudgy penguin and see there's no abstract lines. There's no things that are off place. Like, you'd be surprised, but you have to think about Middle America. You have to think about mainland China. You have to think about Argentina and Spain and Portugal, even Africa. Like, really think about what this technology can touch and the upside. And you look at the landscape of just the art and the positioning of the brands, everybody has a caveat. Pudgy penguins is not.
So with most NFT projects, you kind of have this baggage with the NFT project that the founders got all this money and they haven't really done anything with it. And Luca Netz is the exact opposite. Like, no one can, hound him for like starting an NFT project, raising all this money and not using it wisely. He's done the exact opposite. So he chose the Pudgy penguins because he believes they have the largest total addressable market. And why not just start his own project? Well, for him, the hardest part of he has done so much e-commerce, and he always found that the hardest customers were the first 2,000 customers, the first 2,000 raving fans. And with NFTs, you get that straight away. They're the hardest customers to get, and from there it's plain sailing in his eyes. So that's one of the reasons he believes NFTs are just a much better, or is a different business model, but the interesting business model that it is, in the fact that you have all these you have this community of 5,000 holders who are all raving fans and will push your brand even further, because the more brand awareness that the project has, the higher the floor price of their project goes. So they have an incentive to spread awareness about this project. So the first kind of Web 2, Luca's kind of going down the Web 2 model of growing this brand awareness. But one of the first things he's done is launch a toy on Amazon. And straight away it was like the best selling toy in the entire world for that day. And the reason he's trying to sell toys is to create like a revenue model for the business. So the business can run without having to make more NFTs or mint more NFTs, which has been the downfall of so many NFT projects like World of Women, Cool Man's Universe. A lot of these projects didn't really know how to make money apart from selling more NFTs to their holders. And once they did sell those NFTs, the floor price for those projects, for those main collections, it didn't go straight to zero, but just gradually grinded down and down and down, because these projects, they don't know how to make money in the real world. But Luca does, and that's his main strategy. Web 2 revenue to fund the business, grow the brand awareness, and using the 2,000 raving fans or the 5,000 raving fans to help with that marketing loop. And like I said, they have this massive growing social media presence, and they have a huge team of illustrators, content creators, all on separate platforms. So he has a massive team, like a different team for each platform. So he's really focusing on growing the social media presence and growing the brand awareness that way. And it's working. It's really working. So let's talk about this toy launch that was one of the first successful, it was pretty much the only successful Web 2 strategy in the entire NFT space. But like I said, they sold out on Amazon really fast. They were the best selling toy, and probably most of the purchasers were people in the NFT space, but because it was trending on Amazon, it's likely that some normies also bought these Pudgy Penguin toys. And what do you get? Okay, cool, they sold a toy. That's cool, but kind of anyone could create a toy really and sell it potentially. It's not groundbreaking stuff. However, with each and every toy, there is a barcode that you can scan, or a QR code that you can scan, and it actually allows you to claim a soul-bound NFT. And even if you don't know anything about the NFT space, you can just create a custodial wallet. So you don't have to have a MetaMask, you don't have to have anything. You can just have a custodial wallet on the Pudgy Penguin store on their website, and what is in this soul-bound NFTs is your Pudgy Penguin that you bought, the toy, and it's soul-bound, so you can't sell the Pudgy Penguin itself, so that protects the original Pudgy Penguin holders. But you can have traits, and these traits are tradable on their own marketplace. So you get a loot box of a random selection of, it could be rare traits or common traits. And some of these traits, the rare ones, are already selling for $500, and the common ones, maybe a couple of bucks. So you've spent $10 or $20 on this toy, and you could potentially make $500, or at least you'll get a couple of dollars back potentially if you wanted to go ahead and sell those traits on. And this is all done on Polygon. On the wallet behind it is Polygon. The really innovative and original thing that Luca is doing is that each of these toys is actually owned by a holder. Well, like each of the Pudgy penguins that he's selling, the holder of that actual NFT Pudgy penguin is getting royalties from each sale on Amazon of that Pudgy penguin. So obviously the Pudgy penguins that get revenue from these toys, they fetch quite a bit of a premium. But yeah, that's a strategy that no one else is implementing in the NFT space. I think the next vertical that Luca wants to go down is like frozen food. So because they're Pudgy penguins, they're, you know, ice. So there will be ice cream, there'll be frozen pizza, I don't know, frozen shrimp, who knows. But I think that's the next kind of physical product that he might want to go into. But they're also launching a clothing line, so not just merch. They actually want to launch a cool clothing line that will, like, all of these things are essentially to create revenue for the company and spread IP and spread the brand awareness. And they also want to go into film and TV, so they partnered with WME, one of the biggest entertainment groups in the world. So yeah, they have big ambitious plans and they're actually executing on those plans. And the final bit of alpha, and probably the most interesting thing, is there is speculation, and it's probably true speculation, that there will be a coin dropped for Pudgy penguins. And you know, if you have Pudgy penguins, if you have little Pudgies, if you have the Pudgy rods, we don't know exactly how much each portion is going to be allocated, but the speculation of a coin drop in the short term will drive massive price speculation. But at the moment, the Pudgy penguins ecosystem, just the Pudgy penguins by themselves, is valued at about $100 million. So like the value of all the NFTs is $100 million. Now, where do we think this could go in a couple of years? If all goes to plan, like, you know, in my opinion, it could be in the billions, which would be, you know, tens to even 100x in price over the next couple of years if Luca Netz delivers on what he believes he can deliver on. And like I said, this is one of the only projects that's actually doing well in the bear market, and that's kind of indicative of, you know, actually good performance, because the only people who are really left, like all the retail, like most of the dumb money is gone from the NFT space. Like, I know we're all dumb degens, but you know what I mean, like the people who are just in to try and make money and don't put in any research or anything, most of them are all gone from the NFT space. So for a project to be doing well in the bear market, that does speak volumes of what they're actually doing. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.